Hey, welcome! So, if you're an Arabic speaker, have you ever felt stuck on certain English pronunciation mistakes? You know, the ones that just don't seem to go away, no matter how much you listen or practice? Well, today, we're going to get into exactly why that's happening. And most importantly, I'm going to give you a clear strategy to fix them for good. I bet you've heard these before, right? Maybe you've even caught yourself saying them. It is incredibly common. And you might think, oh, it's just a tiny slip-up, but there's actually something much deeper going on inside the brain. So, what exactly are we dealing with here? The term for this is a fossilized error. I know, the name sounds a little intense, but it actually describes what's happening perfectly. It's when a mistake becomes a reflex. Okay, so a fossilized error is basically an automatic habit. Your brain has saved the wrong sound pattern so deep down that just listening to more English or watching pronunciation videos, well, it's just not enough to fix it. We need to get in there and actively build a new, correct habit. All right, here's the game plan for today. We're going to talk about why these little mistakes have such a big impact. Then, we'll look at the most common pronunciation hurdles for Arabic speakers. After that, I'm giving you a practical 4-step solution, and finally, we'll show you how you can start your journey right now. So, we've put a name to the problem. But why does this really matter? You might be thinking, come on, it's just one little sound. What's the big deal? Well, as you're about to see, the ripple effect can be way bigger than you think.
You know, these small errors can really shake your confidence. They can even affect how credible you sound in big moments, like job interviews. And over time, they can actually become a barrier to your career. But for teachers, wow, the stakes are even higher, because these mistakes, they don't just stop with you. This quote right here, it gets right to the heart of it. When a teacher mispronounces something, that wrong model gets passed on to dozens, maybe hundreds of students. See, the problem doesn't just stay put, it spreads. And that's why being a model of accurate English is so important.
Okay, let's get specific. We're about to look at some of the most common pronunciation hurdles for Arabic speakers. And as we go through them, listen really carefully and just see if you recognize any of these in your own speech.
Let's start with the classic, the P versus the B sound. Since the P sound doesn't really exist in Arabic, it often gets swapped out for a B. So paper becomes baper. But listen to the correct version. Listen for the little puff of air. Pa, paper. That little puff makes all the difference.
And here's another one you'll hear all the time, the th sound, that theta sound. It often gets replaced with an S, so I think turns into I sink, and thanks becomes sanks. You can imagine how a tiny change like that can completely change the meaning of what you're trying to say.
Now this is really interesting, how word endings are pronounced. So often an extra syllable gets added where it doesn't belong. Gifts becomes giftis, 2 syllables. And for past tense words like worked, you might hear work it. But the correct way is just a crisp T sound at the end, worked.
And it goes even deeper than that. First, word stress is huge. Saying vegetable instead of vegetable can instantly make your speech sound a bit unnatural. Then there's this thing called elision, where sounds get dropped in natural speech. So comfortable becomes comfortable. And finally, you've got those super important differences in vowels, like the short I in ship and the long E in sheep.
Okay, so we've identified the problem, we've seen the examples, now for the most important part, the solution. And don't worry, this isn't about doing boring drills forever. This is a smart, targeted strategy to rewire those habits for good. This is where you take back control. The EduBytes strategy is just 4 simple steps. First, you have to catch yourself making the mistake. Then, you learn how to physically make the correct sound. Third, and this is the absolute key, you replace the old habit with the new one. And finally, you start applying it in real speech. Let's break each one down. So, step 1 is all about awareness. You just can't fix what you can't hear. The easiest thing to do? Just record yourself reading a short paragraph on your phone. Then, listen back, but be a detective. Your only goal is to notice which specific sounds are giving you trouble. That's it. That's your starting point. All right, once you've found a problem sound, it's time to become a sound scientist. You need to understand the mechanics. For a B sound, your vocal cords vibrate. Put your hand on your throat, you'll feel it. B-b-b. For a P sound, they don't. Pa-pa-pa. Understanding these simple physical differences is absolutely essential. Now this is where the magic really happens. You are literally building a new pathway in your brain. By repeating the correct sound just 10 or 20 times a day, you build muscle memory for your mouth and you start to overwrite that old, fossilized mistake. Think of it like a workout for your pronunciation.
And finally, you can't just practice words by themselves forever. You've got to take your newly corrected words and start using them in simple sentences. Then read them in longer paragraphs. This is how you close the gap between practicing consciously and speaking correctly automatically.
I really love this way of thinking about it. Don't beat yourself up if the old mistake pops up now and then. You're not trying to erase anything from your brain. What you're doing is building a stronger, more accurate pathway that over time will become your new go-to habit.
So are you feeling motivated? The best part about this whole strategy is that you can start right now, and it doesn't take hours and hours of your time. It is all about small, consistent steps. So how much time do you actually need to get started? Just this. Yep, 15 minutes. That's it. Just pick 1 or 2 words that use the sound you're working on and dedicate 15 minutes a day to our 4-step process. That is a totally manageable way to make real, lasting progress.
And I want you to always remember this. This isn't magic. It's mechanics, and it's muscle memory. Yeah, it takes practice and persistence, but it is absolutely 100% achievable. You can do this. You have the power to reshape your pronunciation, one sound at a time.
And that's our look at how to fix those fossilized errors. If this was helpful, make sure you follow EduBytes for more deep dives into specific sounds. And